Hello Conclave X, this is Kazatul, Officer of Conclave X, and welcome to my video on Domino. So today in Alliance War Room 2, we have a special treat. We have an Awakened Domino as the boss of that room. For those of you that aren't aware, Domino is my favorite champ in the game. I love playing Domino as an attacker. On my Avelk account, she's with me on every Alliance Quest attack team and every Alliance War attack team. When we're not doing Alliance Quest or Alliance War, she's with me on story quests, monthly quests, whatever I'm doing in game. If I can bring Domino with, she's coming with. In addition, I like fighting her. So in this month's and last month's monthly event quest, we had some dominoes, and yeah, it can be challenging, especially the dominoes in Uncollected. But hey, it makes it all the more juicy and all the more satisfying to bring her down. A champion that so many people in the community just say is flat out broken. Well, she isn't broken. I think she's more misunderstood. Hard to be misunderstood. So let's take a look at her abilities here, her misunderstood abilities. Now you compare her to, like, for example, a Hawkeye, and wow, she's got a lot here. So let's take a look first at this probability field passive, and in specific, the second bullet point there, opponents lose 15% ability accuracy. Enough said. Keep that in mind because that ties directly in with their signature ability. Opponents take energy damage whenever their abilities fail to trigger. So let's take an example of Vision. So Vision on any of his special attacks has a power burn component. That power burn component has a 100% chance to trigger, and it is impacted by this 15% ability accuracy reduction, which means against Domino, there's a 15% chance that on a special attack that power burn ability will fail. And when it fails, then it will trigger critical failure. So that's something where you have an ability that will happen that has a 100% chance to trigger, and if it doesn't trigger, well, then you get this critical failure debuff, and that's pretty easy to understand. I think that's the way most people get this understand this ability to work. Now, the other scenario is where you have, for example, a Captain Marvel, and a Captain Marvel on every hit that she lands on the opponent, she has a small chance to trigger a Fury buff. So it's not 100%. It's whatever it is, 8% or 10%. I can't remember what it is, but it's a relatively small percent. So let's say you have your Captain Marvel and you parry Domino, and then you lay into her with a 5-hit combo, and none of those 5 hits, uh, the Fury you don't get a Fury buff in any of those 5 hits. So what would happen there is critical failure would actually trigger on you 5 times, which is important to know because the third sentence in this critical failure description, potency decreases temporarily for consecutive triggers. So when selecting champions to challenge Domino, it's something to remember. You can go two approaches. You can use something like a Vision where he pretty much doesn't trigger anything other than that power burn, and also this ability accuracy reduction does impact your dexterity mastery. So Viz is pretty much limited to dexterity and that power burn on the special attacks. It's the only time you're going to see that critical failure. So you limit the amount of times that you have critical failure on it. On the other side of the spectrum, you use someone like a Captain Marvel, where it's constantly going to be reapplying this critical failure, and you're going to see the damage each tick of that critical failure debuff drop really quickly because its potency is decreasing per the description here because you're constantly triggering it. So that's a signature ability. That's the first thing to be aware of. Then the next important aspect of Domino, there's actually two of them, and these two things can occur whenever Domino reaches 1 bar of power, fills 1 bar of power. Domino has a 30% chance to gain a lucky passive, and you have a 30% chance to gain an unlucky passive. If you are a skill champion, you will always get that unlucky passive. If you're a tech champion, you'll never get unlucky. So it's important to remember so let's take it one at a time. So the lucky passive, got a lot of good stuff here. But the one thing that really drives me nuts, in case you haven't guessed, is that 10% chance to evade attacks. So when Domino has that lucky passive, usually I just kind of back off and I wait for that to drop off before attacking her because I hate being evaded. It just drives me up a wall. Then the unlucky passive. The important thing to be aware of here is you have a 100% chance for your evade or dexterity mastery to fail. So this is especially important when Domino unleashes a special 1 attack, because there's 2 components to that special 1 attack. She does a melee attack first, which you can dash back and avoid. Even if your dexterity mastery fails, you'll avoid it. The second part is a projectile. Well, you cannot avoid that projectile with failed dexterity mastery. So that means if you have that unlucky passive on you, you have to block the projectile. So you need to be aware of lucky and unlucky at all times during the fight. Otherwise, you will be in for a world of hurt. So why don't we take a look at some gameplay here real quick, and I will demonstrate some of this in action. So to demonstrate, I'm using the Domino from one of the maps on the monthly quest here, Uncollected Difficulty. Now, Uncollected Difficulty on some of the paths has some fun node effects, and in this case we have Power Shield, so our basic attacks don't do any damage, have to special attack to damage her. Now, I messed up the Colossus and Kamala run. Sorry, everyone, I didn't have the energy to redo it again, so Archangel it is. So, see right away, Deep Evade, followed by an immediate medium, or you could use a light attack. Let's see that again. Deep Evade, and then tag. Now you see above her, she has that green buff. That's timing down. That's lucky. Now we'll wait for the next bar because we're repeatedly getting hammered with unlucky during this. So let's build her up one more hit, and we should see it. So look above us, that red timer with a little flower-looking thing in the middle. That is unlucky, which means in that special one we had to block the second part of it. Otherwise, we would have been hit by it. So let's do some damage with that special attack and try to push her to special 2 to demonstrate that. Now the special 2 is easy to avoid, just back the heck off, and as soon as she lays on that second flip shot, just rush in and take her out here. And we're unlucky again, have to block that. Deep Evade followed by medium attack, 5-hit combo. And again, Deep Evade followed by a 5-hit combo, and nothing to it. Now we're unlucky, so I'm just trying to keep from getting that special 1. And of course I'm trying to push her up to the special 2, because the special 2 is just so easy to avoid. And right now she's lucky, so I'm trying to run that out before I do anything. So now let's bait out that special 2, back way the heck off, and just rush in and hit her up, and that's it. Well, thank you for watching my video on Domino. Good luck on the Alliance War today, and I will see you in game.